Our fleeting forever begins with the dawn of love. Liam saw Chloe across a crowded farmer's market. The sunlight caught her hair and she was laughing, a sound like wind chimes. He knew right then something was different. Their first words were simple, awkward even, but their eyes connected. A spark ignited and a silent understanding passed between them. They talked for hours that day as the bustling market faded away. It was just Liam and Chloe in their own small world. Each day was a new page filled with small adventures, shared smiles and whispered dreams under starry skies. They built a universe of inside jokes and secret glances. Their bond was a tapestry, woven with threads of joy and trust. Their love felt like a beacon, bright and unwavering, a lighthouse in any storm. But life, in its unpredictable way, tests even the strongest bonds. Slowly, almost imperceptibly, things began to change. A quiet shift in the currents of their lives. It wasn't a sudden storm, not at first. It was more like the tide, gently pulling them in different directions. Liam dreamed of adventure, of distant lands and new experiences. Chloe yearned for roots, for stability, a quiet life in the town they called home. Their once parallel paths started to curve, gently diverging, creating a space between them. They tried to ignore the growing distance, to pretend it wasn't there. They held on to the familiar routines, hoping that these anchors would keep them steady. But the unspoken differences lingered, like shadows in the brightest room. Small misunderstandings became more frequent. Small silences grew longer. The realization dawned slowly, painfully. Love, even a love as deep as theirs, couldn't always conquer all. Chloe felt a constant ache in her chest, a hollow space where joy used to reside. Sleep became a battlefield, her dreams haunted by fading smiles and distant laughter. Tears would well up at unexpected moments, the sight of a familiar cafe, a song on the radio. Liam walked through his days in a haze, a profound numbness settled over him. He went through the motions, work, chores, but his spirit felt absent. He missed her terribly, but didn't know how to say it. Memories became both a comfort and a torment. They replayed the happy moments, the stolen kisses, the shared secrets. Friends offered shoulders to cry on, words of support, but the grief was intensely personal. They were adrift, two ships on a lonely sea, separated by a storm of circumstance and unspoken fears. Section 4, The Final Sunset, a goodbye etched in memory. They decided to meet one last time, not to rehash the pain, not to search for blame. There were no more arguments left in them, just a deep shared sadness. They needed closure, a final, gentle acknowledgement of their ending, a way to say goodbye to the chapter they wrote together. It was the hardest meeting they would ever arrange. The air was thick with unspoken sorrow. They chose the old park bench, under the sprawling oak tree. It was where they first whispered, "I love you." The leaves were turning golden, falling softly around them, a poignant backdrop to their farewell. The bitter irony of the beautiful setting wasn't lost on them. This place of beginnings, now a place of endings. The silence between them was profound, heavy with emotion. Few words were spoken. Their eyes conveyed the depths of their sorrow. He slowly reached into his pocket. He pulled out her small silver key, the key to his apartment. He placed it gently in her palm. Then they pulled apart, slowly, reluctantly. They turned and walked away. Section 5. Echoes and New Horizons, the path to healing. The days that followed were a blur of quiet pain. Each morning brought a fresh wave of realization, the emptiness beside them in bed, the silence where laughter used to be. Weeks bled into months. The sharpness of the grief began to soften just a little, like a jagged stone smoothed by relentless waves. Chloe found solace in her art. She poured her emotions onto canvas, transforming her pain into something tangible. Liam immersed himself in his work. He took on new challenges, finding a sense of purpose in creation. Slowly, genuine smiles began to return. They started to reconnect with friends. Healing was not a straight line. It was a winding path, but they kept walking one step at a time. Hope began to flicker again, promising new horizons and new songs.